And yes, welcome back to the long-awaited return of the Ohno Wrestling Podcast. We are very sorry, folks. The last couple of weeks, just schedules happen aligned, and you know that thing called life, how it gets in the way of our wrestling and our podcasting and all sorts of things. I don't like life sometimes. I just want to watch wrestling, get drunk and high, and, have some fun with my friends talking about wrestling. But alas, we are here to do so. My name is Owen. My name is Owen, and you're
Owing.
Yeah, but your current defending Ohno Wrestling Predictions champion. I am.
I was robbed.
Your sharp break kid, and yes, you were pretty much robbed. But I'm holding the belt.
It's
I'm
all
holding
right.
the belt. I got it close.
But, hey, look. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Always cheat.
So I'll take it. You know what? I'd rather lose on bullshit than get completely swept.
And
honestly.
you know what? You had a decent run. You had a pretty decent run this last go around. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm back.
I can't believe we haven't like taken the time to really line up who's had the belt the most over the course of the year.
Yeah. I think that what we need to do starting, now that we're approaching, of course, 2022, we'll take a look at our week totals, because I think that's what matters more. Rather than the amount of title reigns, I think it's the amount of weeks with the belt held.
Absolutely.
So we'll absolutely look at that moving forward. And that lovely voice that you can hear on the other end of this call, it's once again none other than our good buddy Duncan, the king of Bong Style.
Oh, yeah.
Everything going all right with you since the last time we talked?
Yeah, man, everything's going great. Me and Jack hanging out.
Yeah.
Just getting ready for the holidays,
Absolutely. And what better way to get ready for the holidays than to do this show?
100%.
Man, a ton of stuff to absolutely talk about, and we're going to be all over the place because it's been a couple weeks since we've done one of these. So there's going to be stuff that we miss. Hopefully we hit on some of the highlights of stuff that has happened in the wrestling world. And I'll go ahead and just throw one out there right now just to start off the conversation. I think of things that have happened in the last couple of weeks that we haven't been able to address. And that is was it last week's Dynamite with one Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson. And I don't know if it's the first ever hour-long match on North American television. But
No.
But there can't be many, and
there's been a few Iron Man matches on WWE, like Angle and Brock had that.
That's true. That's right. That's
that Iron
right.
Man. So there's been a few.
Might have been the first draw.
Might have been the first draw. Definitely AEW's first hour-long Broadway.
And I'm surprised they didn't do this as an Iron Man match. This was just one fall, I'm surprised that they didn't throw that stip on there, but is that maybe Duncan for later down the road?
Maybe. That's sort of what I was thinking, is like you leave yourself open for the Iron Man stip later.
And that will feel even bigger, when it gets down to it. Has there ever been like a 3-way Iron Man match?
Ooh, I don't know the answer to that, to be entirely honest with you.
If it has existed, it's not something that I don't think I've ever seen. But
I definitely haven't seen it. Let me see. I'm gonna Google triple threat Iron Man match. It does auto-populate.
Okay, so there might be something. I don't think it's in WWE. It certainly isn't in AEW, of course, but maybe in a smaller indie or a New Japan or something like that. Maybe that's
it looks like. Who is this? What is this? Sin Cara versus Ricochet versus Justin Liger.
Okay, that actually doesn't sound bad.
No, like
depending on the Sin Cara, right?
Oh, it's a stupid fucking video game.
Oh, no, 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 no.
God damn it.
So
See, and
maybe
that's the problem.
that's the problem with fucking internet. Uh, I'm guessing that maybe hasn't existed. I don't
I
know.
don't think it has.
And this is my little proposal moving forward. When Mox gets himself back in action,
Ooh.
throw Mox, Danielson, and Page in a triple threat
Ooh.
Iron Man match at fucking Revolution if Mox is ready. But
That's nasty. So here's what do you think about what's AEW's big multi-man match going to be?
okay,
So like not necessarily the ladder match, but like WWE has the Elimination Chamber.
okay,
And before, like, they have the championship scrambles and the things like that that involve a lot of people who are in the main event scene.
yeah, and then
I
we've
just,
kind of got their versions of, like, say, the Hell in the Cell with Blood and Guts. We've kind of got the battle royale or the ladder matches, the casino battle
Blood and Guts
ladder
is more like war
matches.
games, though,
Yeah, I guess so. That is more like war games.
because it's a double ring, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Blood and Guts was a double ring.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, I mean, I guess like their big ladder match thing they've done with the casino battle ladder matches, whatever they call them. Then you've got their version of the Rumble with the casino battle royale like thing there. But yeah, like an equivalent to the Elimination Chamber. I don't know. First off, it begs the question: do they need one?
Well, it doesn't. They don't need a structure match.
No,
that's not really what I'm saying. But I feel like, dude, look at the main event scene you have right now. Page
got a fair
Danielson.
few in there. One or two guys.
One or two.
I
mean, we just keep rotating the same one or two matches on Dynamite all week, right? So it's really, I don't know, man. Like the just the need for it at some point is going to be there.
I can see that just because of the fact that there are so many top level guys that they need, a reason to have all these guys come together and maybe even a shock change of the belt or, like, because you can't have all five in traditional feuds that, culminate somewhere down the like that's how you get Miro into the title picture. That's how you get guys that are like really on that level and deserving of being on that level, but don't necessarily have the beef one-on-one with the champion because the champion can only really have so many feuds, right? Like at once.
Right. Maybe what you do is you just sort of have them like two people start in the ring. And then the rest of them are somehow segregated. And then every few minutes somebody comes in, but there's no structure involved, right? Like sort of like
a gauntlet type scenario. Yeah.
A gauntlet, but I don't want to say no rules, but like no DQ, because obviously it's a no DQ thing because it's AEW for one, but for two, that kind of match just lends itself to being like it's pinfall or submission only. And then an elimination down to the final two.
Maybe they could do it as the reformed version of the Stadium Stampede. And it's in a stadium, but you know what I mean? And they have the use of like some more, I don't know, area, but you could do it like that. Then again, I don't want it cinematic in the way, that match is kind of
the
lined
Stadium
up.
Stampede has to be, so.
But I just like the name for something like that would work, and with the history that they have, that's kind of why I jumped in there with that. But
yeah,
could you do, because the blood and guts concept could even work for what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
A singles war games match. I know that's kind of counterintuitive, like in what the way we've seen it before. But if it was a 2-ring,
sure, but that's
5-6
different
match.
Yeah, to see now that and an elimination match at that.
So and an elimination.
Have it, dude. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So have a blood and guts match. It starts out with the two, and then however long somebody else comes in. Once everybody's in, match officially starts.
Yep.
And then it's elimination from there.
Yep. I love it. I love it.
AEW, you can send the check to patreon.com/Ohno Wrestler or ONRS Live.
I think
Ohno Radio Show.
Well, I mean, if you're looking to donate, by the way, it's patreon.com/ONRS, or you can do the tried and true with PayPal at Ohno Media Owen at gmail.com.
That's right. And you can message me from my Cash App.
Yeah.
But seriously, okay, that I think, because dude,
do you have an elimination from over top of the cage, perhaps even as well? So if someone got hoofed over the top of the cage down to the
Christ, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Okay, well, Ray Phoenix just got a boner in Mexico right now because Ray Phoenix
sure fucking did. Or Cody.
To do that. Yeah, someone wants to do that spot.
Yeah. Of course someone wants to do that.
So instead of winning the match too in traditional steel cage rules, like if you get eliminated from off the top of the cage and your feet hit the mat, you don't win, you lose. You're out of the match. That's I mean AEW likes its complicated as hell matches.
I was gonna say it's no less complicated than the fucking casino battle royale rules.
I feel just leave out the goddamn the cards and the decks and all that shit.
Don't need any of that.
We don't need any of that.
That only works in Vegas.
Yeah, and it is weird that obviously we know why they started the buy-in and they all the terminology around Double or Nothing, because it was in Vegas, made sense to have all the roulette, or not roulette, but casino shit. Right?
Yeah.
When you do it and you just that's just part of Double or Nothing, I don't know that it fits anymore for me. It
didn't fit for me. Seeing that not in Vegas, I'm just like,
Atlantic City or something, another big gambling place, got all the time in the world for it. That makes complete sense.
Yeah, put it in Reno.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
That's fine too. But when it's not in a gambling city, it just kind of feels lost. That being said, what wasn't lost on me, at least, was indeed this Broadway between Hangman and Bryan. And I have so many good things to say about it. We don't really go through step-by-step match recaps or anything like that, but what were your big takeaways and favorite highlights of that bout?
Dude, I like the way that there was just no fucking around. Nobody was pulling any punches. They gave you a definite pay-per-view worthy 5-star match.
Yeah.
For free. And you want to talk about establishing Hangman as a legitimate.
That was my biggest takeaway from the whole thing, Duncan, because I think a lot of the wrestling community, and myself included, was a little worried that maybe this Hangman thing wasn't going to work with him as a world champion, and not for very long. And I think that we all were a little skeptical of him not wrestling since he won it. We definitely had our reservations that he might be a short-lived champion. Right,
and I still think that he might be a short-lived champion
in comparison to the champions that we've had so far.
Yes.
I would agree with that statement, but I don't know if you're like me. This was star-defining match for him. This was the match that he needed desperately to win over a lot of us fans that were a little I don't think any of us dislike Hangman, but a lot of us were just skeptical whether he was the guy to carry the torch for the company at this moment. And, and now all of that has been eliminated in my mind.
Absolutely. I think that not only was it a star-making match for Hangman, but it also put Danielson back up on that level of being among the best in the world at professional wrestling. And
he's been getting there with every single match. And of course, the biggest evidence is the one with Kenny, I would say, the 30-minute, match that they had, the other time limit draw.
Right.
But
This I
this,
thought was a better match.
I would agree with that statement. I thought this was a better match, and it's hard sometimes. I mean, a match really, those performers truly do have to be amazing to get an ADD culture such as what we have to sit through that long of a match. It's also
Yes.
why I think Iron Man matches are the little loophole and the little trick to some of that, because you get those pinfalls and that's some of that endorphin rush, right? Like
Right.
that kind of keeps you going to the end. Uh,
Absolutely.
but with this, I appreciated that it wasn't that. The fact that, I mean, the conditioning that has to go involved from a wrestler's, point of view,
For
like
real.
to be able to do that. And I don't know what Hangman Page's longest match prior to this was, but I definitely don't think it was anywhere near an hour. Like, I feel like Hangman's, like, maybe his longest match is probably in the 28 to 32-minute range, somewhere in
Yeah.
that realm.
Yeah, I feel like Hangman's got he's on the shorter side when it comes to most of his matches. But I think that's also because he was a young talent for
Yeah,
the last few years. And it really just sort of like, for lack of a better analogy, he was the 1, 2, 3 kid of the elite.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So like he was the younger one that like sort of got brought in. So I don't know. I think that man, Hangman, he has so much potential. And I think that he does do better and in like he gets me into it more when he's chasing the belt
Than when he has it.
than when he's defending it. But
But
with TK coming out and saying that Danielson is still the number one contender for the AEW title, I'm just like, okay,
yep.
give me another one. And I think that's where you'll get an Iron Man or a no time limit match.
I think that might be the better play, is even that one. The no time limit might work. I mean, and then how long? I mean, Jesus, how long do we go here? If any company is going to do it, it's going to be AEW.
Yes,
And I want to say,
absolutely.
and I want to say too that all of us, I think, were a little bit nervous with the stepping away of Kenny. We all needed him to do it. We all knew that he had to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
but this could be like even that longer storyline that maybe Hangman does keep it that long, or he
Right.
could drop it. But at the end of the day, we come into this three-way with Kenny, Hangman, and Danielson. And that to me seems like it could work very, very well given the styles of the wrestlers and giving what they've both just shown us. Kenny has the kayfabe reasoning for it as well. I didn't get a chance to go an hour. If I could have gone an hour, I would have beat him.
Right.
Mine was a 30-minute time limit. Yours was an hour. So in a weird kayfabe way, Kenny can actually make an argument that he's just for a title shot.
Absolutely.
Especially if Danielson is the champion at that time. Maybe
Oh,
I've said for years, or not years, but I've said for a little while now,
hours.
hours. That at least on a couple of other of our shows, that I think
Yeah.
John Moxley would be the first two-time AEW World Champion. Now, I'm thinking it might be Hangman Page. I think that might have switched in my head. And this does also like relate to life, and we don't know where Moxley is, right? Like we don't
Right.
know where, like, when and where he's going to be back in a ring, and I don't want him to rush back, of course, anytime too soon until he's ready for it and he's in the shape that, that's all on him. Take
Right.
as much time as you need. But I could see them doing a storyline that takes us well into the new year, and maybe well into, getting Kenny back after his surgeries in that time frame of Hangman dropping it to Danielson, Danielson being the champion, and then a Kenny return prompting that three-way based upon, what I just said.
Oh yeah. And I am totally into that because I also think that that is something that can keep Hangman, like, he keeps everybody fresh, brings Kenny right back into the top where he belongs, but doesn't necessarily have to put the belt back on him.
Yep.
You have this,
Also,
dude,
a way to
like,
bring back Kenny Face.
yeah,
Because he's going to get a pop no matter what, right? Like, he's
right,
going to get a
right.
pop when he comes out. And playing along the loyalties of the Elite with the Adam Cole situation, maybe Kenny getting ousted, all that type of stuff. Maybe then there's even a reuniting of Hangman and Kenny as a team again.
I mean, we haven't had a payoff to that whole end of the Kenny and Hangman match when the Bucks came out.
Yeah.
And, so
all of that
very
stuff
interested to see.
Seems like it's a possibility. Overall, the match was fantastic. I don't think, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you're living under a rock. You need to. The jumping jacks, bro, in that, like Danielson, like 15 minutes in, like, what? I haven't even gotten started yet. Let me do some exercise.
Dude, I love American Dragon so much.
He is such a prick, and I love it. He is such a good heel.
He's such an asshole.
He's better as a heel. Like, I never thought I'd say this because of the Yes movement and all that shit from back in the day, but I think he might be better as a heel than he is a face.
Definitely do. I think, like, he is, man, the way he just, like, is just a smarmy, like, he's like, I know I'm better than you. Not in an MJF way.
No.
But in a totally different kind of, like, it's like, oh, you've got the other side of the asshole coin covered.
And he still comes out of the face tunnel.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't see himself as a heel. You know, like that's what I love about it too. That those little touches that they really are kind of amazing. Speaking of things that I do find surprising going on right now, were you as shocked as me to learn that KO resigned with WWE?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, I was, like, way shocked about that.
Now, I can see after the monetary figure has been leaked why he might have done so.
Well,
2 to 3 mil, is that what you've heard?
2 to 3 mil a year for 3 years?
For 3 years.
Yeah.
That's hard to turn down. But
yeah, between 6 and 9 million.
Yeah.
Over 3 years, like,
you can retire or do whatever the hell you want at that point once that money.
Seriously, and he's got a family he's looking out for.
Yeah.
This also allows him to stay here in Florida. You know what I mean? Not that AEW wouldn't, but AEW can't match that money.
No, like, especially with the amount of guys that they've
not saying that AEW, like, they signed good contracts.
If this would have happened at a different time without some of the major signings that have popped over, to AEW, I truly do think that it might be a different story, that they might have shelled out that little bit more to entice KO to come over. But when you've got such a, like we were just talking about earlier, such a deep roster and so many, like, main guys that are probably getting, like, you think Punk's on that type of money? Like, who would be Punk's got to be the highest paid guy in AEW, right?
I would think what, Punk then Jericho?
Punk Jericho would be my top 2, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think Jericho was the top. You know what? Jericho might still be the top. How do we know that Jericho doesn't have a favored nations clause in his contract?
That's also very true.
He's smart.
He is smart, and especially with that type of stuff, I can see him doing that. I like whatever it is. I'm guessing it's probably around that, like what KO just got signed for. That's what
I would like to hope so.
I think so.
But also at the same time, it just, like, it could be more, or not more, but it could be less over a longer period of time.
That's that could be the case. It could be the case. I'm just saying that if AEW wanted to bring KO in, and I'm pretty sure they would have wanted to, but they probably wouldn't have matched that type of money because they would want to have more room in the main event spot. And not everybody can be in the main event all the time. So right. I can understand KO's logic in staying with WWE more than just the money on this one. And even more than just the family. I think that he's actually made a smart business decision and career decision because there's not that many top guys in WWE anymore.
It's true.
He knew he had that leverage, he had that power, and I think that realistically there might have been a promise or two for him to have. I think he's getting a world title run in 2022.
I would not be surprised by that. I'd be more surprised if he didn't, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's this day one match. Could he come out of that on top? I doubt that personally on day one, but I think at some point in the new year we're going to see him as our champion, and I think that he'll have he needs a good heel run as a champion.
He does. Here's a problem that I have with this whole day one thing. You fired the fashion police.
Yeah.
How can we have day one without day one is H?
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
These morons. Why don't they need to listen?
Fucking jabrones.
They need to listen to this more. The other thing that is scary though, and it seems like it's the case across the board with any new WWE contract, is there is no cut clause.
Yeah.
Meaning that his contract is as good as written on toilet paper at the end of the day if WWE decrees it is.
Yep, because they renew every 90 days.
Is that it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I read, is that basically they are on a renewal basis every 90 days.
That's fascinating. And wow, what a shrewd way of doing your contracts. But it doesn't mean to say that KO can get a nice little payday for, while he's there. And when the time's right, and if they do decide to cut him, he can't then split as well. So I kind of in a weird, twisted way. Now, this doesn't benefit everyone, and it might not even benefit KO if they were to cut him monetarily. But it's like let's see how long this can last. Let's see how long I can string him. Because then at the end of the day, if they were to cut him, he might have a non-compete, he might not. But then he can go, because he's young enough, then he can go still to AEW and do what he wants to do with his friends. So it kind of gets
36.
Sounds about right. Yeah. It sounds pretty dead on. 36, 37. I don't think he's older than 38 by any means. But yeah.
No, I don't think so either. 37.
37. There you go. Yeah. So he's got time, and he's one of those guys that'll, I guarantee with his love of wrestling, he will try to do it into his 40s. I mean, most of the roster at this point anyway, like the main event guys, most of them are in their late 30s to early 40s.
Well, Rollins is 35. Lashley is 45.
Yes.
And AJ is 44.
Rollins is young for WWE main eventer.
Yeah. Roman's and not older. Only that, but so did you hear about this shit about AJ going to NXT tonight?
NXT tonight. Yeah, he's been getting in beefs with Grayson Waller over there at NXT 2.0 over I think Grayson made fun of his hair or something. And then so they were in a Twitter beef about that. And I guess it all kind of coincides with the fact that Omos turned on AJ right on Raw. So kind of opens the door. This is an interesting one because I feel like it's a defibrillator. Is that what you call defibrillator? The thing that they shock your heart with? A
defibrillator, yes.
Yeah, it's one of them's. It's the paddles and the clear for NXT 2.0 sending AJ over there, if that's indeed what they're doing.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Ratings-wise, it's tanked. I mean, it's the experiment has not worked.
No, and the experiment is not going to work because it's fucking shit. I don't want it to be, but it is.
I've heard other podcasts describe it as one I like, a wrestling podcast. Well, I've heard them describe it as it's Schadenfreude in wrestling. You watch it to see how terrible it is, to laugh at the uncomfortability of these performers, these debuts, this writing, these hacky fucking promos.
Oh my god, dude, these characters. The poker guy. Yeah, I want to
that's Duke Hudson, bro. You put some respect to the name.
Don't tell me how to live my life. You're not my real dad.
Do you even know your
I
real dad?
want to like Duke Hudson.
Yeah.
Do I even know my dad? Shut up. I've met him like 4 times.
So
Fuck
you
off.
don't know. You don't know. No, like I get
Listen.
what you're saying. Like if they were to build some of these people the correct way, there's probably a lot of really good talent there. There's probably a lot of things that they can utilize. They just don't seem to care about that anymore.
Dude, it is NXT 2.0 is the Braun Breaker push experience.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And I dare say they're not even doing that well with him because it's like the fire burned super hot a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, when but now that seems like it's tapered off. The only thing that you can really do at this point is have him, defeat Ciampa, right? Like you've got to just go there.
But Ciampa's already beaten him.
Yeah, so there's that.
Like if they would have had him just beat Ciampa, then I suppose it would have,
Do you leave Ciampa in his current role as daddy, champion or not, right? You leave him down there in NXT because I guarantee he has no interest in going to the main roster.
None at all.
But I think at that point you do have a main roster guy in Braun Breaker if you treat him right.
Yeah, my problem is I feel like they're gonna they're gonna pull a Braun Strowman with Braun Breaker.
Make him kind of a comedy, not comedy, but
not even necessarily comedy.
Attraction.
They're gonna push him as super serious at first, and then he's gonna do or say something funny unintentionally,
and then they're gonna use that for 8 weeks, and that's all his character is going to be.
Yep, and then it's just gonna go back and forth between like serious Braun and then hacky Braun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, enough about 2.0 because I can't really stomach talking about it too much.
I'm with you, bro.
But
2.0, bro.
This comes up a lot, right? In this day and age of like, okay, we've seen so many defections from WWE moving over to AEW or that type of thing. We've seen so many of those happen, and so who's the first that jumps from
AEW
to WWE? And there's some obvious names that come up. I mean, I don't think it'll ever happen, but MJF, of course, teases it all the time because it's good for his character and it's good for keeping up his kayfabe, right? He teases like when his contract's up in 2024 and the bidding war happens. He loves talking about it. And I think
and WWE is very interested in him right now too.
Oh yeah, they would sign him in a heartbeat if they could.
Oh God, for sure.
Again, I don't think it'll happen, but
no.
And I also think that they would probably ruin him.
Yep. Because they wouldn't let him be him. No. Part of what gets MJF over is when he is offensive and he acts like somebody who is really like that because he's like that.
You would have to, even for character's sake, you would have to debut him on the main roster. He does not go to 2.0, man.
No. You cannot.
You cannot do that. You cannot do that. But here's the thing. I was thinking through the names, and I've heard a million of them shouted out there, like maybe a Jungle Boy. I don't really see it either because he's too small for WWE's sensibilities and their liking. And I go through some of the lists in my head, and I'm sure there are other ones, but the one guy I could see them, and especially after AEW is done with him, building him into the megastar that he's going to be, the one guy that I think WWE would spend shit tons of bags of money on would be
sackfuls of money.
Sackfuls, maybe even a blimp. Not that he wants one, but that's just part of contracts now.
That's true.
Would be Wardlow.
Wardlow would be a big one, and I think that would be an amazing way too if you did the package of Wardlow and MJF, and if they were to go over. That would be a coup.
That would be a coup, and if WWE isn't trying to think of that already and spend a shit ton of money to do it, then they're idiots because they should be.
They absolutely. All right.
Who else you got? Who else you got?
Yes to that. Okay, Lance Archer.
Too old.
Maybe. Or
and brain dead.
And this was well,
we don't know, right? Yeah.
The first one that came to my mind, Brian Cage.
Can't believe that that hasn't happened. But
Yeah.
maybe it is because I know he's super open about like HGH or whatever he is, like his steroid stuff. Maybe part of that like makes them not want to,
Maybe. I mean, I
dip
would
their
not be
toe in
surprised.
those
But
waters.
like, dude,
But
with Vince just jizzing himself and wanting
that's the
younger people who are
that's the prototype right there. I mean,
right.
that's
Dude, because he's a young Brock who moves just like Brock did in 2002.
maybe better.
Maybe better.
And he can cut a promo sometimes.
Yeah.
I've seen worse.
Yeah. Yeah. He's fucking like
He seems like
he's not as bad as Ryback.
no, not at all. And in interviews, he actually does seem to have a personality and actually does
He
like
does.
seems like he's
Yeah.
able to talk. So I feel like he's a guy that just given the right direction with a character, he might be able to take it. I just don't think we've seen him with other than
Right.
he's the machine, right? He's just this big fucking crazy wrestling animal that can do what he
Yeah.
does. Other than
The
that,
thing
there
is
hasn't
like
been a
when
character.
he's sort of on the indies, he's always like he channels Chris Canyon so
Yeah.
much. And like I just like play more into that. Like
Yeah.
be more like just who better.
And
Like do more.
and he'll get there. He'll
Yeah.
absolutely get there.
He absolutely will get there. I don't know. I think that was the first one that came to mind just because of like the look of it.
Yep.
Vince hates tag teams, so you just automatically look away from anything like that.
No, don't even play with that game.
But like you think nobody else really ticks the boxes. Britt, but she wouldn't have no interest in going over there.
See, okay, here's a weird one that no one would ever hear me or think about. And he wouldn't ever be a wrestler in WWE. But Vince would, I think, love the comedy of Orange Cassidy and would make him a manager and nothing else and overdo the thing. But and Cassidy, I don't think would ever do it, right? Like
no, but like look at
but I can
Malcolm.
see something dumb like that for him. Like Vince would just the kicks, look at the kicks.
But look at Bivens, right? Like look at Malcolm Bivens in NXT. He's been signed down there for over 2 years, and he just started getting any sort of anything on TV. That's like fair. An hour ago.
Yeah.
And dude, when he was Stokely Hathaway on the Indies, everybody loved him. Like
what a personality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now I don't know. I worry that would happen. I don't see
it either. And he's too valuable to AEW's kind of identity at this moment because we talk about the 4 pillars of AEW, but there are other steps to there are other pillars and that lead or steps that lead up to the pillars because there's so Cassidy is one of them at this point. You've got and there are so many more that are even the next set of pillars when it comes to your Dante Martins and you've got the guys that are really, really young that they're going to be building up for the next generation. They're actually doing a fantastic job of turning people that we didn't really have any clue about a year ago into the next thing. And I think that I'm struggling in my own head right now with just thinking of who those names are, but they are out there.
I think that Griff Garrison too many and Pillman Jr.
They could be
the Varsity Blondes. They could do. They definitely have potential. I don't know. And also another thing they're really good at is taking things that WWE squandered and didn't see the potential in, and then turning that into something dude, the last Malachi Black promo.
I knew you were about to bring this up.
Knew I was fucking gonna bring that up. Wait.
Oh, it's there.
Hold on.
Oh boy.
Am I a proud fucking member of the House of Black? You're goddamn right I am.
You're day one House of Black.
Dude, I've down since day one is H. Yes. Motherfuckers.
Yeah, maybe that's what it stood for this whole time.
I think that is exactly what it stood for. And dude, I loved it. Yeah. I'm not sure where this whole thing is going with him spraying the Julia Hart in the face.
I kind of like it though. because it's
Listen,
it's the weird twisted dichotomy of taking somebody so innocent and beach blonde chick and
yep.
turning her into something completely opposite, right?
Oh,
That thing often works in any storytelling device. So this
mm-hmm.
it plays into that. Do we know for official that ya boy has signed with
There's been nothing
AEW or
official. There has
no?
been nothing officially official.
If you don't know who we're talking
Uh,
about, fill us in, please.
Oh yeah, so we are talking about former Ring of Honor superstar, uh,
And
one half of the
PWG.
PWG Tag Team Champions with one Malachi Black. We are talking about Brody fucking King, who is basically me if I was a pro wrestler, had hair,
I
and
was gonna
couldn't
say had
smoke all
hair.
the weed in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's about the only difference.
yeah, yeah, and he's straight edge. That's literally the only
You
difference.
might. I don't mean this is any disrespect, but you actually might have a smaller gut than he does, and this is
Maybe.
this is one of those things that is both like why Brody King, of course, would never be a WWE guy, but also why he is so scary because he's this hoss that isn't in the greatest shape of the world.
No.
But sometimes you don't need a hoss to be.
He's got that Walter vibe to him.
Absolutely. Very much so. He might even be taller than Walter. Cuz
I think he is because, dude, he's tall.
he's a
Like,
big
he's a big
boy.
boy. I've seen him live multiple times.
He can
Uh,
take a chop and boy can he give one too.
Man, the very first time I saw him, like the chop that he took uh from Dutch, aka Bill Carr, who
Sure.
is in Ring of Honor. He's one of the 6-man tag champions now, the new
Mm,
6-man tag champs
mm.
as a final battle. But dude, the vignette was filmed at Brody King's house.
It's and even just the way he what was the last line he said, right? It's like
Oh,
you
he
were a
whispered in his ear,
king
"Now
or
you're more than just a
like now
king.
you're more than
You're
just a
so
king.
much more than just a king."
Yeah, it's perfect. Like this is a great it can be a great addition to the AEW tag program, which I do feel like I mentioned this before. It was something they based the company on that I do feel they have kind of dropped the ball a little bit on lately. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not to say that like the Lucha Bros are bad tag champs, not
No,
to,
they have
but
fantastic tag teams. They're just getting caught in a WWE rut of
it's a weird shuffle of things that's
yeah.
not for some reason like isn't clicking in or hasn't in 2021 for sure, maybe starting in 2020. But yeah, you can throw Malachi in that, you can build a
Dude,
stable
okay. If
bigger,
you
you can
throw the Kings of the Black Throne, which is what they go by in PWG,
mm,
which how fucking metal is
fuck
that?
yes.
So if you brought them in, the matches that those two would have against the fucking Lucha Brothers,
Dude, and because not
against
only that,
FTR,
like we talked about Brody King's like size and his hossness, but that guy fucking moves
he moves.
like a
Dude, I have
luchador.
seen him do the lucha rope jump thing,
Yes.
and the motherfucker's like 6'7", 320.
I went back and watched a ton of clips of his, just like highlight reels of his, just
Yeah.
to kind of like, because I have seen matches, but I had to refamiliarize of just like how good this guy's in the ring and how agile. It like think if you haven't ever seen a match with him, mix Brody Lee with Luchasaurus, Ray Phoenix, and Walter, and that is
And a dash of KO.
dash a KO. That's Brody King.
Yeah.
And he is
Because, dude, he does that cannonball. He does the sentons over the top rope. Like, he does. I have seen him do, like, every lucha match, they lock knuckles and then somebody slaps him on the chest and then they run up the ropes and then they do some flippy shit. I have seen him be the one that's running up the ropes and doing the flippy shit.
if I ever
It's
get to,
mind blowing.
I would love to ask him this question one day, and I hope some other podcaster, if I don't ever get to meet him, asks this. But did he possibly ever foresee in the future of his career before his tragic passing, almost coming up a year, right? of Brody Lee.
Just over a year,
Just
I think.
over, yeah, right. Something.
Oh no, it was
his
like
birthday was the other day because he died.
birthday
Like,
was the other day.
Yeah, so it's
right after Christmas. Yeah.
But a Brody versus Brody match, a Brody
Oh,
Lee versus
man.
Brody King, and I can't imagine because imagine those two styles and imagine those two personalities and those characters. Like it feels like you don't even need a build for a match like that. They just it feels like it's there, right? Like you would watch that. Those two names, you would pay money to see that.
Yeah. I would definitely pay money to see that. Dude, he's 6'5", 285. Brody King is.
Damn, that's a big man. That's a big.
And he only debuted in 2015.
Yeah. How old is he?
Hang on, looking. Why does that not say? He's younger than me.
He's probably like my age. He's like 35 or something.
Yeah,
like
I think he's like 35. He's also in singer. He's the singer for a hardcore band called God's Hate.
Oh
which
shit! I
is
didn't know
also
that.
yeah.
Are they any good?
I mean, do you like hardcore?
Not really. So
okay, then
probably not.
Then you don't. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
But it's like that. I don't know. It's stuff like Sessions would listen to.
Sure. Yeah.
So like I like that kind of shit. And I don't know. When I was on Twitter, I would follow him. I was following Brody King on Twitter, and he like would just tweet out shit about like metal and hardcore albums and stuff like that. And he's like posting pictures of him in Typo Negative shirts. I'm just like, are we the same person?
I mean, we're real close. We're
real close.
Yeah, dude. Well, I hope that AEW does make it official. I think we get the All Elite graphic after his debut, and
absolutely. We're not going to get it before, but okay, so they're doing a holiday thing, right?
They are doing a holiday thing. They're doing, well, I don't know that that's the best place for him to debut, but they're
dude, but what if it's like Macho Man's wedding and when
it's Rampage. So it would be the Rampage, and they're doing it on the Saturday on Christmas Day. So unless they do it tomorrow, I don't think they're doing anything special for Christmas tomorrow per se. But then they shoot essentially the holiday special, which is the 1 hour Rampage tomorrow, and that will air not Friday, but will air on Saturday on Christmas Day. And they have that
hour-long Battle of the Belts. And then when's Revolution? January?
No, that's not till March. That's the next big pay-per-view. But Tony Khan has said there's like bigger stuff coming in between that. So
they might be sitting on it for a minute.
Maybe
they might get a couple, but I also don't feel like with that kind of vignette you want to let it sit too long.
When do they do the Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen? Because those could like easily get slotted in there as big shows. I
feel like those are summer shows.
They feel like they are summer shows, but I remember they changed the original date on one of them, so maybe they could do it. It doesn't matter. Like the rules are still being written, right? And they can change whatever they want. They can do a big. I think he will debut on a big Dynamite, rather than a pay-per-view. For me, I don't see them holding out that long till Revolution because I think Malachi kind of needs the help and the direction.
Yeah,
and so like who knows? It could be a battle of the belts and could also kind of like lead to something that it possibly leads them moving after the Battle of the Belts into a tag team feud, or Malachi maybe going for the TNT championship or something like that. Like there's
now see, I would like to see it be at Battle of the Belts.
That's
if there's a tag team match. And have it be,
or again, maybe inserting Malachi into the TNT title picture,
maybe because Cody's going to be
right. So what if Cody takes it off Sammy, and then but now I've got my Nightmare family, but this is the real Nightmare family. Like you could
Nightmare family versus the House of Black.
Yeah. And then
you have
Malachi.
Julia Hart. You have Julia Hart as the foil for Brandy. Okay.
And
all
now,
right, you know what? I think we just booked this.
I think we just booked that pretty well.
Once again, AEW, listen earlier, you know how to find us and send us the monies.
Yeah.
Sackfuls of money.
Occasionally we stumble on these things. And sometimes it's better too, because like that's how it happens. Like, you talk it out and then like suddenly things click. And
I feel like that's what WWE is missing now, is wrestling fans talking about the wrestlers and what the storylines could be.
They need to be getting drunk and high off, not in creative meetings, just like, what if this happened? What if this happened? Because it would spawn like the real life, what you could probably do and who these people should work with. I mean, just the possibilities that you can end up with. And that's kind of how I came across my own little, real life booking theory.
Owen's theory.
I think I predicted the future prior to anybody else, and I don't have any documentation. You were the very first.
I will say, all fairness to Owen, he was the very first person that I ever heard say this, and it was a good half a day.
Yeah, and it was very close to when other people said it, but it was maybe 2 days or 1 day or whatever it was.
I feel like it was the next day.
Sure.
Like we're talking about it that evening.
I'll tell you how I came up with it and why it all hit. I was having a conversation with Stafford. I had a short conversation with our good buddy Matthew Stafford, former, ONW champion, but not before Duncan.
I was gonna say, you don't got to rub it into him like that. Or maybe you do.
Yeah, wish he was here with us in all seriousness. But yeah, we were having a conversation about, like who we literally were, like on the phone having a conversation and like just throwing out like, oh, what happens with the WWE? Like we've done so many times. Is it Disney? Is it da, right? Like we've come up with so many different theories. And then it kind of came to me that I think all of the positioning and what we're seeing is the eventual sale or controlling the person that will end up the controlling. What's the right term I'm using? Controlling entity,
controlling interest
in the WWE.
A 51% stake.
Correct. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That person will be none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Rock the Dwaynes.
Yes.
And it sounds crazy at first on paper, but when you start, there's little bits of evidence that I can point to that we will get to in just a sec to kind of back up my point here.
Well, there's that, and then there's also like his production company that he's big in with. Like there's so much that lends to it being, oh shit, that could definitely be a thing, because there's no way they're not gearing up for sale, right? Like
we know that as I think anybody that has ever owned a business or anybody that knows anything, have done any sort of research on this, the WWE is doing exactly what any big business does when they put their company up for sale. That is just kind of textbook. And I believe that Nick Khan, who is pretty much in charge of a lot of this stuff, has done this to other companies in the past.
Yep. And also Nick Khan.
Part of the evidence here. Another
part of the evidence. Owen's board of Magic and Wonder. Is that Nick Khan and The Rock are very good friends. They've been friends for a very long time.
Apparently used to hang out as kids.
Yeah. So, and I think The Rock was sort of like, was he not instrumental in helping him get into WWE?
I think we don't know that. One can only speculate on The Rock helping Nick Khan get into WWE, but wouldn't it just make a little bit of sense? Because you're positioning the person that's the guy next. Like, I think he has just under Vince McMahon levels of power within the company, right? No other. There's Nick Khan and then there's Vince. That's how it rolls.
Yeah.
So I do feel that, like, why wouldn't you get a guy like that in that you're close with, that you trust in a business sense, that's going to do the right thing? You're going to be able to sell the company, but also I can keep you on as that head of sort of like financial operations or
Yep.
whatever you're doing
Absolutely.
when I take over the company. Very, very strategic move. Also very smart for somebody to kind of learn the inner business dealings. And this is probably being done with full knowledge by Vince McMahon and the McMahons that this is what's happening. Like, that they know, like, they're almost setting Nick Khan and The Rock up to take over the company. They want this. This is something that isn't that is Vince approved. I want a part of my
Yeah.
whole theory of this is that, like, Vince is like doing this to also maximize the amount of profit he can make, but leave it in hands that he trusts.
Oh, 100%. I don't think there's any way that Vince does this without without it being somebody that he trusts. And clearly he doesn't trust Triple H enough.
I don't think so either. And that's why, with this particular move, a guy that has gone on to Hollywood, become the biggest movie star pretty much ever. Like, it's
Yep.
weird to say, but
Yeah.
has. That why wouldn't you, as Vince McMahon, a guy that's always tried to crack Hollywood, to be the biggest company of WWE it could possibly be, why wouldn't Vince then want the legacy to move on with somebody like The Rock,
Absolutely.
that
Yep.
was that he was kind of like helped home grow, to pass on that to a guy that he knows has the connections with Hollywood and the financial institutions to move this forward. Number 3 of the big, or I don't know how many we've got now, but another piece of evidence that
Yet
definitely
another.
is the purchase of the XFL by Dwayne.
Right.
Dwayne purchased the XFL off Vince McMahon. Let's not forget this. Or his
Well,
production company did.
I was gonna say, wasn't just him.
Wasn't just him, but Dwayne has a big stake in that as well. And
Yes.
that also proves that there have been business dealings, big business dealings, with Dwayne and Vince thus far. That
And then you had the stupid golden egg thing.
had the golden egg thing, all the tie-in with the movie that The Rock was just on. You have the fact that Nick Khan's daughter is a director. Look this up. Because I don't want to butcher this. Look up just Nick Khan's daughter, The Rock, because there's a connection here too. I believe she has directed a film that The Rock was in, or has, and that also could play a role into this whole scenario. I don't want to mess this fact up. Here's also another little, like, just the way I see it going while you're looking that up.
Yep.
Is if The Rock were the major purchaser, he could become a Vince McMahon like character on television, especially as he gets older. Maybe he doesn't want to do all the action movies all the time, but he can become a Jack Tunney in a sense and make matches, be an on-screen presence. That's a given. The Rock can do that. But what they can also do is they can keep Triple H and Steph on the books. And they will have they will still be within the company. And then you can have, I mean, if you're getting into wrestling, you can have feuds with, you can do stuff with Triple H and The Rock, given their history behind the scenes. Like, that also writes itself as well. So The Rock is worth $500 million. Vince's worth, this is what I looked up, and who knows how accurate celebrity net worth is. I don't know if that includes all of his assets, if that includes what he owns in companies. That's very difficult to tell. Vince McMahon is still worth $2 billion from my last check. So I do feel that a good portion of Vince's wealth is, of course, built around the WWE.
Well, yeah, a lot of that is in stock.
Yeah. The Rock would not be doing it alone.
No.
Did you find anything, or am I just crazy?
I'm looking, but for some reason this was being a
Let me look
A
real quick.
twat.
What do you think of all my craziness, though, Duncan? I'll try and look.
No, I don't. No, none of it. I don't think any of it. There it is. Nick Khan's sister.
Sister. Okay, I said daughter. Yeah.
So yeah, he's like in the mid 80s. Nick Khan, his sister, and myself used to run around as kids in Honolulu, Hawaii every month when my grandmother would promote her pro wrestling shows. Years later, Nick is WWE president. Natasha is one of the best TV showrunners in Hollywood and the creator of Young Rock.
That's it. That's it. That's the one. So it was his daughter.
No, sister. Nick Khan's sister.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm reading it from The Rock's tweet right now.
Can you read it again?
Yes. In the mid 1980s, Nick Khan, his sister Nanachka Khan, and myself used to run around as kids in Honolulu, Hawaii every month when my grandmother would promote her wrestling shows. Nick is now WWE president. Nanachka is one of the best TV showrunners in Hollywood and the creator of Young Rock.
That's pretty fucking close, right? And the fact that she is the showrunner for Young Rock.
Well, the creator of Young Rock.
There you go. So he's like, until all of that, like, I didn't know, of course, that Nick Khan and Dwayne were, had that much history. And doesn't it make so much more sense now with the Nick Khan thing?
Right.
Like, it's almost the giveaway. Like, that's the giveaway. Like, oh, shit. Like, The Rock almost, by putting that Instagram post up, almost said to the world, I'm buying the company. Like, in my weird way, like, that's the way I know I'm looking way too into it. But
I mean, but are you? Because that's exactly the kind of carny shit that somebody who has been in wrestling for forever would do.
Exactly. And I don't hate it. Like, that's just part of.
No, honestly, out of all of the fucking options, I feel like that would be the best one.
I'd rather it be that than Amazon or a big conglomerate like a Disney or like just like
or NBC.
Yeah, like have somebody that has been there, been in the trenches, has a love and a passion for it. And this is the last piece. This is the last piece of the puzzle right now. The Rock's family is the Samoan dynasty, which goes along with which goes along with the bloodline, which we have to this day with Roman Reigns, and why he, is the man he is. I mean, Roman is extremely talented, doing a great job on his own accord. But why the Usos don't get fired when they get 10 DUIs, and why, like the lineage and the line goes so deep. Wouldn't it make sense for the McMahons to pass it on to such a wrestling dynasty as this to keep it going? Especially if Vince doesn't trust Steph or Trips. And Shane's, I think, out of the picture on the whole thing.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was reading that, and like I've read several of those articles lately, and they're just like, "Yep, Shane, like the family is strained and blah blah blah." I'm like, well.
And he's got his own shit going anyway. He's got
Shane has a ton of money outside of WWE.
Speaking of Roman though, too, am I the only one like that they pulled me back in? Like they did. This whole Roman Brock thing is like it's really good. Like I can't believe I'm saying
really
it.
Good.
I can't believe I'm saying it, but I can't believe they got me to be interested in Roman and Brock again.
Yeah.
After how many times?
Dude, I know.
But they did.
Yeah.
And the Heyman thing and like that whole interaction and segment where it's when the final it's been brewing for so long that when Roman finally asks Heyman, "Why are you here? What are you doing?" And I'm here to protect you from Brock Lesnar. Those are
it was because Roman said, you're here to protect Brock Lesnar from me, and then Paul said, no, I'm here to protect you from Brock Lesnar, and Roman was just like,
All
Okay.
right.
And then Superman punched him in the face.
I loved every bit of it.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, that was good. God damn it.
And god damn it, how do I like Brock so much now?
I love
I
Brock
love him
right
so
now.
much. He's dancing, he's smiling, he's loving it. Like
he's got the beard, he's got the ponytail, he's got the fucking overalls. I'm
bro.
like,
I did kind of want him to stick with Sammy and have an unusual alliance with Sami Zayn. Part of me was sad that he turned on, I mean, saw it a mile away, but I would have kind of weirdly liked that because the two of them could have been, I don't know, kind of just hilarious together for me.
I could have definitely seen that. It was good, like a good 2-week story filler though.
I like it though. I like it. Yeah.
I do too. But I'm very interested to see where this goes. Like,
I've heard this floated around. See what you think of it. Do you think that it's a complete swerve and that Roman retains and Heyman is still with the bloodline and not with Brock? And it's that wouldn't be bad. That would not be a bad way to do it.
It wouldn't be a bad way to do it. I think the bigger issue with that is like, well, they're building for this to continue at WrestleMania, right? Like,
yeah, it's a long ways away.
Yeah, it sure is.
It seems like on house shows too that they're doing like multi-mans with Bloodline and doesn't matter who but Drew McIntyre. So are we going really back to a Roman Drew thing again?
Ew, I hate it.
Don't like that either.
Nope. Don't like that.
Don't like that either.
Don't like that at all. I think that we could not do that ever again and I'd be happy.
Switching gears. TBS title. Where are we at right now with that? Is the final two, is it Ruby and Nyla? Or do we have the final two? I can't remember.
Man, I don't fucking know. Hold on.
I'm looking it up. Let's see here. What's the wiki say? Why are you being stupid?
Is your internet being stupid too?
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know what it's doing. All right, well, no, we'll find that out. If it, I mean, I would go, I mean, out of those two, I think that those are the two that were rumored and highly projected to become that champion. I kind of want it to not be Ruby somehow. I kind of want it to be Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
If I was to pick between those two, that's where I'm at with that.
I don't know where I'm at out of those two.
That's fair. I guess I've just not been thoroughly impressed with Ruby right now. Okay, so no, we haven't got. I guess we'll get the semifinals. We still have Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill in there. So it's in the semifinals. We do have Nyla and Ruby. So it will be one of the. Well, it won't be. It could not be. But then we have Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill on the other side of it. They're taking their time with this tournament, which is not a bad thing.
It's not, and I also like that they are going to be doing that. A men's and women's Owen Hart Cup.
That's going to be amazing. Whatever they do with that, really good. I think it's going to be really, really smart. And I think that's got to go to the best technical women's wrestler and the best men's.
So Serena Deeb.
Serena Deeb would be the person that should win that.
Yeah.
Ooh, on the men's side, is that like a Daniel Garcia perhaps or a...
No.
He's good. He's not there, maybe not there quite yet, but I think it could. I think he'd be in
two words, 3 syllables. Well, 4 syllables. I don't know how these things work. I don't play charades. Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. I mean, depending on where he's at in the main event scene, I suppose.
But like,
I would see this as more of a mid-card thing. I think this is almost 2 below him, but If they did
Maybe.
that, I could see that too. Yeah, I mean, he would be the clear choice for it, but I don't know
if you're going for best technical wrestler.
Right. I don't know. I just think that should be a subcontext with it. With Thunder Rosa and Jade, I wouldn't mind. I mean, okay, I think it's gonna be. They're probably gonna do Rosa and Soho in the final, aren't they?
That's what I see in the final.
Unless they do go with Jade Cargill, like that's the weird one, but
they could. But I see, in my mind, the inaugural TBS champion will be Thunder Rosa.
But are they saving her for Britt? Like, that's the only thing.
They might be saving her for Britt, but why don't you put another title on her? Then you have a title versus title scenario is who's the best.
And they do actually have the Battle of the Belts. I don't know if this is before or after.
Well, the Battle of the Belts is like
it's in like 2 weeks
in
or something.
2 weeks. Yeah, so it's not really time to do that, but like I could see that. And then you do another TBS tournament.
Could do that as well. Absolutely could do that as well.
So
you watched more than I did with the I guess the final Ring of Honor show that we know of, the final battle.
The final Ring of Honor in its current incarnation.
Yeah, because they've kind of even come out in the last day or two and said like, "Hey, no, we're not like dead. Like we're alive. Like the company's still going."
They're just kind of restructuring and doing shit a little bit differently. And honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But I did catch out.
It might have also been the perfect time for them to do so.
Yeah.
Going into the new year, seeing how everything's developed. I mean, it's been a crazy couple of years for not only independent wrestling, but the wrestling scene in general. Hey, let's take a break. That's kind of like reformulate. Let's come back. Reassess. Because they could honestly come back. When they come back, they will get the debut pop. And they might be able to get like a substantial, like if they do it right with the proper restructuring, they might be able to have an amazing roster, like of people coming in and out. Maybe even a deal with AEW where they can loan talent, which has happened in the past. And then like the sky's the limit for them. I think they could come back and probably do better numbers than they have in the last few years. But
absolutely,
pay-per-view as a whole, like pretty solid. Like,
dude, it was a banger, man. Like it was full of really good matches. Like, I mean, you had some. All right, so the main event was Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor World Championship, which was vacant. And dude, that match was 15 and a half minutes of fury, like, because Jonathan Gresham is an amazing technical wrestler. Jay Lethal is an amazing wrestler, period. Those two tore it down. Then you had the Briscoes against Matt Taven and Mike Bennett for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team
Gresham retained, correct?
Gresham won, so the title was vacant. So
Gresham actually got crowned champion. Gotcha.
Exactly. And it was the classic ROH world title design too.
Nice.
The old one.
Nice. And that's a smart match to just a book in general. Yeah. Because of the history of like new guy versus like the Jay Lethal and like the old guard of a guy that's like had so much career history with Ring of Honor.
Yep.
Like it feels like the right. Yeah, that was a good. That's
no,
smart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Briscoes.
And it was also like, what's that? The Briscoes retained over Taven and Bennett, and then afterwards FTR came out to challenge them.
That's what I was forgetting about. Yeah, that's because that seems like that has money written all over it.
Yes.
And you can put that one on AEW TV as well if you want to. If you're Tony Khan, like doing those little favors like he did with NWA and kind of doing.
The Briscoes said like they've been cutting promos. They're just like, "Yo, Tony Khan, send your jet, come pick us up."
Yeah, and I think they will. Like that one, I don't think that that not every move like that is good for Tony, but that one is.
That one is.
That one is.
That one is. I didn't realize that I needed to see the Briscoes and FTR until that moment.
Yep. And it just made
And then I'm just
sense.
like,
It just
shit.
clicked, right? It just clicked. Like those.
Yeah, it's just like, where the fuck? Oh, yeah.
Make
Yeah.
that the next big feud for FTR.
Yep.
Anywhere.
I want to see the Briscoes and the Lucha Brothers.
Would not complain.
I want to see the Briscoes and pretty much anybody. I fucking love the Briscoes. They're some dirty motherfuckers.
I want to see the Briscoes versus Malachi and
Malachi and Brody.
King.
Speaking of Brody had a match at Ring of Honor. Violence Unlimited, which is his stable. It's Brody King, Homicide, Tony Deppen, with Rocky Romero, defeated EC3, Eli Ism, Taylor Russ.
What are you doing in there, Rocky?
Williams.
What are you doing in there, Rock? You don't belong there.
Dude, Rocky loves Brody. He's always wearing his like shit. Like he was in BTE wearing a God's Hate hoodie. I think there's been a lot of little Easter eggs for Brody for a minute now.
I love it. I love it.
And then I know that Braun showed up at that show.
Yeah, he did. With EC3?
At the end of the match, he came out.
I know he was wearing the Free the Narrative stuff, right?
Yep. So no, he's part of.
Yeah, he's part of that crew with EC3 and someone else too. That's pretty prominent.
Killer Cross.
I thought so. Yeah. I've forgotten about that. Yeah. I haven't watched it. That's why I'm asking Duncan. Give me the rundown.
Yeah. So Killer Cross wasn't on that show, but they have been releasing that shot. That's the three of them.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's Cher, Cross, and then EC3.
What a great stable. First off, like that.
Yeah.
Me, like that's got money all over the place. You send those three.
Does.
You can bring them to any independent, be it a GC dub. You can bring them to AEW, no problem, and they can cause havoc. That's how you do Braun as well. Have him be almost like, first off, like EC3 will be the centerpiece of that stable because it's kind of his. But Braun's the attraction of the centerpiece. I think that makes sense.
No, like Braun's that
man will move tickets.
Braun will move tickets, Cross will move tickets, and Cross is sort of like I don't know. I love that the dichotomy of the
way
those
bastards.
Three work together.
Well, I guess EC3 is not bald, is he at the moment? I don't know. He's done bald.
No, but neither is Cross.
Well, is he not? He's shaved his hair. Did he grow his hair out?
No, he's been growing it out.
Oh, he's gonna be studly white supremacist. That's cool.
Stud premises.
I'm gonna go through. I know we're up on time, so I just want to rapid fire a few things at you here. Asuka, where's she at, and where's Bliss? When's she coming back?
Asuka's in Vegas hanging out, playing video games and eating ramen. Bliss is fucking who knows, man. That's a weird thing.
I feel like she was coming up soon. I feel like that was going to be happening. Don't know.
Hope so.
Is Liv Morgan ready
to cry after she loses to Charlotte
for the belt for a main event spot?
No, she's not.
I agree. A lot of people seem to disagree.
Look, and you can disagree and give her the belt. I just think that it's going to fall flat. I want to like Liv Morgan. I really do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I do too. I don't really understand, apart from the fact that she's hot, and she can wrestle. She's not the best wrestler in the world.
All she does, dude, this is okay.
She just kind of she has the same move set, and it feels just I don't know. Am I the only one?
She feels like the same, you only know how to do these same moves in the game
over and over and over.
Yeah. And then also that, all Liv does, and this is my biggest thing, is what is her character? Her character is to cry. Her character is to lose a match and then cry that she lost the match. Even her makeup when she hasn't lost the match are fucking tears. So what is it other than always looking like you're about to cry?
Yeah, it's a little irritating at this point. It's the WWE version of kind of what's gone on with the Bunny and Penelope Ford, over and over and over. Here we are again. Doing it again. So yeah, I think she will be there at some point.
But I just don't
she
think
needs the
that,
right
like,
feud to elevate her. She needs the right
and this
person.
isn't it. And
This is
also
not
the
it.
thing about this, if Liv beats Becky, but
Ooh.
Becky also beat Bianca so handily, what does that say about Bianca? You know what I mean? If you play that game.
Yeah.
So
exactly. No, and they're night and day as far as like their progression is, and
right.
their talent. I had an idea, wanted to throw it out to you. Send the Viking Raiders to NXT. They've already got so many goofy gimmicks down there anyway. They could go down there, be super dominant, and probably be better off than they are on the main roster.
I hate what they've done to the Viking Raiders.
They were War Machine.
They were War Machine.
And they were good.
And then they were the War Raiders when they went to NXT.
Which I don't mind. That War Raiders is fine.
Yeah. And then
they were the Viking
Raiders.
Experience and
the Viking Experience, that's right.
Yeah.
The Viking. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, probably NXT 2.0 is a death sentence for anybody in that system, but I feel like with all their goofy gimmicks and everything going on right now, they would actually be able to fit, and they would probably do better there than they would on the main roster. That's my logic.
Well, that audience likes them, so they would do much better.
Yeah.
Because that audience at least knows who the fuck they are. That's
fair.
The problem is that those two they're such a good tag team, and they're just being squandered.
Yeah, and they've had they've had at least one or two, runs with the belt at this point.
Have they?
At least one, but they weren't like, they were very, they were pretty lackluster. They didn't mean anything. Much is of course, the tag team division in WWE.
Well, yeah.
With our last couple of minutes, Duncan, I'm going to throw some things out there, and we're gonna play a little game, and it requires nothing from you. All you need to do is say yes or no, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about as soon as we start the game. It's the yes or no game, and this one is welcome to Wrestling Fantasy Porno.
Oh God!
and I'm gonna throw 3 at you, and all you gotta do, if you would watch it or not. All right. So here we go. Number 1: Roman Reigns and Stephanie McMahon.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
We would watch that, right?
100%. Yeah.
Does Trips? Is he there with the spoon in the corner?
Trips is just being cucked in the corner, just watching.
Corner.
Maybe it's filmed by Trips.
Maybe he probably.
He's like, ooh, yes.
He does the whole spray of the bottle of water when they get too hot. You know? Got to do that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So yes on the first one. Number 2. Number 2.
Definitely.
You remember the sensual promos from back in the day, but what about Trish Stratus and The Rock?
I mean, yeah. Wait, is it Rock now or Rock then?
Oh, Rock then. I think you got to go Rock then.
Oh, 100% then.
Yeah. I would watch it more with Rock then than Rock now.
Yeah.
But weirdly, don't mind which Trish.
No, have no problem with Trish. It doesn't matter.
God damn, man, 54 or something. Like I might be saying a little too old there, but she's
stupid hot.
Like, yeah. Okay, the final one. Those were easy yeses. But this one, and I think this is gonna be a yes as well from you. This is one that will scare me. Luna Vachon and Gangrel.
Ooh. I mean,
that is a scary one. That is
scary. Trailer park vampire trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch it. Come on.
and you'd finish just fine. And you'd,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, this is not a show for kink shaming. This is not a show for anything.
No,
not at all.
It's really not. I
like,
thought you were going to do something like Abaddon and Malachi Black.
Oh, well,
or some shit
okay,
like.
well, no, like we'll save these because this can be a new game that we play at the end of the show every once in a while. You know,
I like this game.
Yeah,
this is like the Hall of Fame game, but I don't have to think as hard.
Yeah, exactly. It's yes
just
or no.
Impulse would. Yeah, it's like would like. Yeah. You think about it, it's like the two names is just like, could I get off to that? Yep.
I think I could.
Yeah, I think I could.
And as much as like the first two, of course, I'd be able to. The third one, like I would think about it, but I still would.
I've gotten off to Luna Vachon before, like when
Luna
I was young. Duncan.
Good titties. Luna had good titties,
dude. Yeah, and she always had like the weird dominatrixy gear, and I was just like,
I don't know. Like as a little boy, I'm like, I don't know why I'm attracted to that lady.
Yeah, your wiener was scared, but like
it was scared with all the veins popping out of her head, and
oh, dude, yeah, like.
But I still would have. I would have
100%.
Yeah, I would have done something with it.
By the way, going back to Viking Raiders, one-time NXT Tag Team Champions, one-time Raw Tag Team Champions, and Eric is a one-time 24/7 champion.
There you go. I knew they got the belts at least once. I think it was short-lived. But yeah, they did. They did. We'll see where this goes. I mean, you know, we're about up on time, of course, but you know, I think we've got a couple of interesting episodes coming up soon, simply because we get to talk about like what we do see in the new year with a lot of companies. I think we'll do that more as like kind of a special episode that we'll put out in the very near future. We'll sit down, we'll talk about how we kind of foresee the year in wrestling of 2022 going. And that'll be a good time for me to even talk about a new segment that I will be bringing up, I believe, on our next show, because it will be the year anniversary since I got my printer and I started saving every single one of our notes from last year. So it'll be interesting too, Duncan, to take a look at at a portion of our show of just like what was going on last year at these same exact weeks, you know, like the dates aren't going to be exact, but the same
this week in pro wrestling.
Right. Like
I dig it.
Going back a year. So we'll start doing that coming up in probably the new year. That being said, Dunks, you got anything you want to throw out there before we rock and roll out of home?
No, I don't believe so. I wish we could have gone to that Atomic Revolution wrestling event.
It actually looked really good, didn't it?
Really good. Did you see the main event? Ryzen versus Vincent?
Dude, we might have to start going to some ARW shows. Atomic Revolution Wrestling. They're doing more stuff in Orlando as well. So that's always a positive. And shout out to those guys. Maybe we can get Alex Red, who's the promoter and lead guy on that show.
Support your local independent wrestling company.
Yeah, more than ever, especially with everybody getting released. That's how all these wrestlers are making their money, helping sell their merch, helping move forward with everything. And because we love pro wrestling, we want to help support the wrestlers. That being said, if you want to support us, please do check us out over at patreon.com/ONRS. That money is both used for Ohno radio show purposes and Ohno wrestling purposes. And you can get some free content as well up there. Well, not free, but, you know, paid content, some extra content up there as well. We do miss our buddy Matthew, so hopefully he'll be back one of the next times we do a show. And, you know what? Check out ohnomedia.com. Check out our Instagram at Ohno Wrestling. Check out our Facebook, facebook.com/groups/Ohno Wrestling. And Duncan. I don't think I missed anything, did I?
I think we got everything.
All right. That was a good hangman.
Yeah, he's got the belt.
Yeah, he does. What do we say when we get out of here?